Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's ECA Learning Zone webinar, all about new solutions for EV charging. Today, we're joined by our Commercial Associate Luceco. Your presenters are on screen now. We've got Sarah.cox and Leon.Wong, both electric vehicle charge point business development managers at Luceco. Just before we kick off today and I hand over to Sarah, you should see a question mark button on your screen now. Do please make use of this throughout the presentation at any point, and we'll make sure to get to as many of your questions as we can at the end of the session. And finally, from me, a reminder that today's webinar is being recorded and a full replay will be available on our YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/ECA Live. And that's enough from me. So I hope you enjoy today's presentation. And over to you, Sarah.
Just whilst Sarah's just finding the presentation. So yeah, thanks for joining us today through the Luceco, myself, Leon, and Sarah. So just to start off with, basically to go through a quick company introduction. So Luceco, we have a number of brands under the banner as such. So BG SyncEV being the newest as of around about 2 years. We're also known for our Luceco lighting. Kingfisher lighting, DWP Windsor is to do with outdoor lighting. BG, one of the biggest brands out there in the electrical industry. Nexus Master Plug is to do with your portable power and extension reels, and Ross is to do with your HDMI cables and high-end TV brackets. So in terms of who are BG SyncEV, so BG SyncEV was founded by Ben back in 2015. They were actually Rolex installers to begin with. However, what they did was they had produced a product which they brought to market, which was their compact unit. So the USP to this was it was actually the smallest charger on the market. However, they quickly kind of outgrown the company. Therefore, back in 2019, they became SyncEV. 2022 is when BG acquired the company, and we've basically now put a lot of resources for the company itself in terms of technical support team. You've got like myself, Sarah on the road. We've got obviously our area sales managers who look after the wholesalers, and this is where we are today as a brand. So looking at the UK market, just to start off with, so where are things today? So UK market, so as of September 23, there's actually 41.3 million cars registered on the road. Last year's registrations for the full total year of 2023, battery, electric vehicles and also hybrids formed 23.9% of registrations last year. Another milestone for EVs was last month. So 2024 January was the millionth car which was registered on our UK roads as an EV. And also on the roads, there's about 600,000 of PHEV, so plug-in hybrid vehicles. So now, in terms of the market, it goes, it's roughly 1 in 5 cars which are registered as a battery electric vehicle. So still got a long way to go, but it's going certainly in the right direction. In terms of EV market for us as a company, so when BG took the company over, it was acquired back in May 2022. So we've actually sold 40,000 EVCP products since then, generated 6.7 million in EV sales. Last year alone equated to 4 million of that. And at the moment, SyncEV have about 4.5% market share of the UK. One of the things I'd like to discuss is basically where is the EV opportunity now? So if you look at the statistics, basically the private market is down in terms of people buying EVs. However, the growth is actually in the fleet sector. So one thing I want to bring to everyone's attention is if you are an OZEV approved installer, the workplace grant is still available, and that has been extended until basically next March. So it was due to end this March. And if you were a part of the last grant scheme for the home grant, you'll realise that obviously there was a huge spike in people applying for the grant. But there's quite an interesting in terms of the facts itself. So the grant's been around since 2016 itself. As you can see there, it's actually only really been in the last 12 months that commercial buildings and bodies have been taking advantage of the grant itself. So 5,776 of those were only applied for in the last 12 months out of 18,000 in total, although the grant's actually been out since 2016. So again, that could be a certain market to look at. The good news is basically, so our range of charges, so WC charges, they are all workplace grant scheme approved. Sarah, you back on screen?
I'm back, yeah, it's all right, I'm here.
Perfect. So Sarah will go through basically the sync range that we have.
Yeah, okay, so our new chargers then, as we class them as WC2s or wall charger 2s, have quite a few improvements on them if anyone used our previous sync compacts and our wall charger 1s. So first of all, it's the size is slightly smaller. We've also put in the components, there's now a built-in CT clamp for the vehicle to the charger. It's got built-in RCM for protection on the circuit board, so that resets at 6 milliamp. We've also got the Wi-Fi, Ethernet and 4G connections, and one also comes with RFID, especially for the work in the commercial section if you need the RFID tags. Other things we've put in there is ratchet clips, so everything inside our product is built on the lid. So all the guts are on the lid, which makes obviously replacements easy to do, as well as first and second fix. So the ratchet clips inside will just clip the plug and play system sturdy and in place, so that people who touch the wires and that doesn't loosen up the connections in there. And we've also got the LED brightness indicators on the front as well, so there's been improvements with them. There's no earth rod that's needed with these, and the CT clamps now for your dynamic load management also come in the box with the chargers. What we have available is 7.4 kilowatt and 22 kilowatts. These can be wall and post mounted, and all of these are under the OZEV approved scheme as well. These also come with 3-year warranty for you guys once they're on site. Also what we have in place as well is if for any reason anything goes mechanically wrong with these things, we can also offer a £100 call out charge to support you if they need replacing. Also, as you can see on the slide currently, we've also put 12 different colours of faceplates. These are the RAL colours for garage doors, front doors, cars, that sort of thing. So just to make them a little bit more modernised or to go with whatever colours the end user would like. As the product range stands today, we've got no longer the wall charger 1, which is the top one, but anything with wall charger 2 is what we currently have, as well as the stands. So they can be single or twin mounted, and we also have the crash barriers in stainless steel as well. The tethered ones come with 7.5 meter cable for added length, but this is only in the 7.4 version. We also had the 22 kilowatts there for 3-phase, and they come with the Wi-Fi, 4G and the RFIDs. We also have standard accessories that come with these, which is our charging cables. So these will do single and 3-phase and in different lengths of meters. They also come in type 2 to type 2s. I think most of the type 1s have now sort of pretty much dwindled away. We also have portable EV chargers as well, or granny leads as some people like to call them, and this is with the 13 amp plug top on the end of it, but also with a type 2 plug going into the car. Also, what we do as an accessory is we have the circuit protection or garage units, as we call them, or EV units. So the grey one at the top is IP65 rated. This is metal. What this is designed to do is allow the contractor to be able to come away from the main consumer unit and just feed his EV power point through the garage unit via your meter box outside. A little bit like what our guy's doing on our image there. They come with 40 amp RCBO type A double pole, your surge protection and your main switch, and there will also be very soon a spare way for your lighting or your solar intake as well if you wish. But as you can see from this very busy slide that's on the screen currently, there's loads of different combinations that we do, and we also have the components as well if you just want to buy them separately.
Just to add on from what Sarah was saying, so in terms of the charger itself, so what we have here is we've got the front charger with what I call all the guts on the front. We've got the back plate, so this is what Sarah's referring to. So inside there, we've got a little ratchet system in terms of where you would clip the termination point for your cable. At bottom, in terms of entry point, you'll put your own knockout in. So whether it be 25mm stuffing gland, which is provided in the box, which will go on your right hand side. If it's SWA, that'll go on your left. You've also got, if you can just see there, you've got rear knockout as well. And in terms of mounting wise, what you'll see is when you terminate your cables, you'll bring them in from the bottom. Obviously, this is just a little 3-pin cable. This particular charger here that I'm showing you is our 3-phase, therefore obviously it's a 5-connector block for your L2 and L3 as well. And then from the other side, you've then got obviously your other side just to connect in. You've got your RJ45 at the bottom if you're installing it via LAN. Let's say the units come standard with Wi-Fi and Ethernet. You've also then got basically your CT terminations, which are just push fit. So let's say this particular unit is the 22 kilowatt, therefore you'd have 3 CTs to put in there. There is actually 2 further ports there. One is for an external mid-meter, so your RS485, and you've also got one for PV for future developments as well. In terms of the board itself, Sarah mentioned that, so the little red bit here is obviously your internal CT, so that's just for external mid-meter. And in terms of the charger itself, effectively from the front of it, you've then got your 4 anti-tamper screws, and the standard color that the charger will come with is your anthracite grey. So in terms of the charger itself, looking at the back office, so the chargers are OCPP, which basically means that they're open protocol. This will then allow for other back offices to communicate with the chargers should a client wish to use a different piece of software. Now, the one that we've integrated with our wall charger 2 is a back office called MONTA. Now, what I would say about this particular back office is that it's great for a domestic customer or a commercial client who's looking to monetize the charger. So in terms of MONTA itself, it can be used for load management, which is cloud-based. You've got a lot of features which are available, but this is where the likes of me and Sarah can certainly help you out in terms of any projects. So whether it be a larger project whereby it might be a company where fleet vehicles may go home. So something that they have is something called company-sponsored home charge points. So this allows obviously for employee reimbursement for charging at home for business mileage. So they've got lots of solutions available in the software side. One of the key things from a public point of view is that basically what they've done is they've made it very easy for a user to be able to pay for their charging session should you find one of these chargers in the public realms, or it may be a commercial car park, a staff car park whereby you get visitors. So again, if you decide that you want to monetize the charger, you can do so. This is via the app itself, and the easiest analogy I would say is that it's a bit like paying for your parking ticket in a car park. So rather than going through to your pocket and getting change out, it's now going to a Ringo app or pay by phone. So in this instance, it will be the MONTA app. You'll find obviously the charger's location. Go to payment wise, accepts Apple Pay, Google Pay, so just for convenience of payment. And the other side here is that we do have, there's a live charger which we have up in the northeast at a community centre. So what they've done instead is that, rather than going to the app for payment, you can order these QR code stickers for a couple of pounds from MONTA. Now this QR code is tied up with charger 4 at Luceco Community Centre up in the northeast. So therefore, if a user does go and use this charger, when they scan that QR code, rather than taking you to an app to say, in your Google store to download another app, it actually takes you straight to a web page whereby you can then make payment for that transaction. In terms of the back office itself, so there's probably 2 different scenarios which I can give as examples. So if it's, say, an Airbnb, whereby they do want to monetize their charges, however, they don't want to be paying an ongoing subscription fee. For that type of business or customer, then they can go on their standard MONTA package, which means that the software is entirely free for them to use. And if they decide to monetize that charger, basically MONTA will charge a 10% transaction fee. So effectively, money will go into an e-wallet. So let's just say that the Airbnb takes £100 in a month. Basically, what will happen is MONTA will deduct their fees, and then the £90 will then go to the end user's dedicated bank account. From a larger perspective, or when you look at a commercial back office, this is where you will find that there will be some ongoing fees. So there's a subscription fee of £5 per month or £60 per year. However, the transaction fee does go down to 5%. But again, if you need support in this type of, in terms of the solution, this is where me and Sarah can help out with the projects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip to my phone and basically show you how easy it is to actually set up and commission one of our units. And could I just check, can you see my my phone now?
Not yet, Nick, no.
They'll see the presentation.
Okay. Right, okay. And could I just check, can you... Okay, perfect. So basically what you'll find is the first steps to commission our unit, you'll see that obviously I've got a charger here on my right hand side. Now, in terms of commissioning the charger itself, it's first of all, that's me basically mimicking turning the charger on at the breaker. On your phone, you'll have an app called the BG EV charging app. So when we go into that, what you'll find is, start again. What it'll do is it'll do a search for Bluetooth devices. So at the very top is the charger that I'm looking for. Now, password is found in 3 different places. It's found in the bit of paper that's inside the box. It's inside the unit on the sticker there. So it's charger ID and password, and it's also on the box itself. So what this does is it allows me to get into the hardware settings for the charger. So let me just put in the password. And what we see basically is the setup menu for the charger itself. So we've got network setup, configuration settings, an RCD function test, and also install the test mode. So what I'll do is I'll actually go through this in reverse order. So let's just say you've installed a charger and your client's actually not in the house. Now, for us to be able to do a functional test, charger will default in its settings for smart regulations, which obviously means that you can't charge within peak times. So the installer test mode, the button at the bottom, basically what that does, if you turn that on, that will change the charger back into a dumb mode, and it basically will do that for 15 minutes. So that's to allow you to do, to plug in your EVSE adapter, do all the tests that you need to do for your test certificate, without then it having to be online or anything like that. So what I'll do is I'll just turn that back off. RCD function test. So basically, if we need to, when I click that, what it'll do is it'll basically do a self-test just to make sure that the RCD function is working should there be any issues there. So that'll obviously come with one of two results. It'll either say RCM self-test successful, or it would say it's failed and it'll go into a red fault mode, which then obviously you can then contact our technical department. In terms of setting up the charger, as I say, from standstill, so go into the app, enter your password. First thing you'll look at is say configuration settings. So as discussed, our chargers are integrated with MONTA in terms of its back office. So MONTA will be a default setting. We do have some other software providers there, the likes of EV.energy. We do have another one called SyncEV, but the main one that you'd be using going forward on our WC2 is the MONTA platform. In terms of the charging mode wise, so as we know with smart regulations, chargers now have to be smart and have to be app driven. So we'll leave that now. The charger could be statically changed in terms of its value, in terms of what it outputs. However, obviously the best result is to leave it as 32. We can change the indicator brightness as well. So we'll say put that to 10%. And what we'll do, we'll change that back over because we're not in test mode. So when we go next, what you'll see here is load management. So as Sarah mentioned also, CT clamp is provided in the box with the chargers. Now, it's not regulation to say you have to install these, but it probably is good practice to install it, as new builds and new build houses are probably going to come away from gas, and I think they're targeted for 2028 to become, to basically become more. Sorry, 2028 is when new homes will then have no gas, and they're looking at things like air source heat pumps. So therefore, obviously, we have got bigger draws on a household property. So this is where load management will matter. So in terms of the CT clamp, in terms of setting it up, so in the settings here, you'll see that dynamic load management at the top there. So we'll toggle that on to say, yes, there is a CT clamp installed onto the installation. And then here, I can then obviously preset, well, what is the DNO's incoming supply. So let's just say 80 amps in this instance. When I go next, this is a nice little visual to say that, well, on L1 at the moment, there's 242 volts, so we know that's in tolerance. CT clamp is showing 0, well, that should be because it's in my hand. So at least you know that when you've installed one of the CT clamps, you'll see that it will give you, you'll be able to do it will pull through obviously your value and also confirm that you've installed it correctly and in the right direction. The same screen will apply for a 3-phase charger. You'll then see obviously L2 and L3 as well. As you can see there, it says check CT clamp connections because it obviously knows it's in my hand. I'll come back out of this now. So just to show you your network settings. So in terms of once you've configured the hardware settings for the charger, which is effectively, effectively telling it have I installed a CT clamp or not, setting the LED indicator brightness should the end client want to lower that or increase that. The other thing to do would be to set up the connection points. So again, with smart regulations, charge points are required that they are connected online. So from this screen here, you'll see that basically at the top, quite simple, you've got Wi-Fi, LAN, or 4G. So what you'll do is you'll just toggle over whichever one or method that you've connected the charger with. In the bottom box here, then you'll enter, see customers, Wi-Fi, SSID, and password. In this case here, I've got a 4G unit next to me, so I'll leave that as the 4G. And then when you go down to next, what this now does is it does a charger self-check. So this is checking, has it got voltage to it? It's also checking, it's doing an RCD check as well. And then what it'll then do is it'll start connecting to a network. So as you can see here, it says connected to network. So whether it be a Wi-Fi or whether it be a 4G. Our 4G models are multi-SIM, so it'll basically choose and pick up the best signal within the area. You'll see now, and you'll hear that it's just made a beep. So what that's done is it's just done a reboot itself, just to store those settings of what I've set those parameters to. And as you'll see just in my background here, so the charger is currently in a yellow status. Now that means it's basically looking for a Wi-Fi signal. It's now found its 4G signal, and you might just be able to see that it's now turned blue. So solid blue means it's all ready and online. However, if I use Sarah as my end customer, it still doesn't show me how do I get Sarah onto the end app. The Bluetooth EV or the BG EV charging app side is to set the hardware settings, and basically the next stage is very straightforward as well in terms of the end user. So what you would do effectively is, I'll go to my camera here. So as you can see just on my desk here, so this is the paperwork that you get with the charger in the box. First side, it just tells you basically scan QR code for instructions, scan the second one to download the BG EV charging app, or you can go to your app store. And in terms of me getting Sarah online now, so the stages would be, I'd ask her to go to either scan the QR code on the sheet here, which will take you to your app store to download the MONTA app, or in this case, I already have MONTA installed onto my phone. In terms of the process itself, it's very quick and straightforward. Once you download the app, it only asks you to enter your mobile number, which then sends you a verification, which then means that your app is ready. There's no long registration process for the app itself, so that can be done within about a minute. The quickest stage really after that is once you've got MONTA downloaded onto your phone, pick this piece of paper back up. We will go to this QR code here, which tells us what it'll do is it'll pre-populate the charger's ID into MONTA. So as you can see on screen now on my phone, it's come up with BS 213T730, so that's the charger's ID. I've now got 3 boxes to complete. I can either select that it's a 22 kilowatt or a 7.4. So in this instance, this one's a domestic 7.4 unit. We'll give it a name. So Leon's charger. Give it a location, so you can put in a postcode here, or you can put in a place. So I'm based up in the northeast, Newcastle. So we'll put Newcastle up on time. So my last stage is to click on connect to MONTA. And as you'll see there, basically that's the process that you'd go through to commission our charger. So with me talking you through that process, it's probably been about 5 minutes. So the important thing really for me is that it's understanding that you do your Bluetooth bit, which is doing your hardware settings. And in terms of getting Sarah in this instance as my customer, I'd ask Sarah to download the MONTA app, do a registration, which is a phone number. We'll scan the QR code, and that process is quite quick. Other things just to make note of. So the first thing I would do is go to charge point settings. So you'll see that it says MONTA connected. So we know that the charger is online. Now, one of the important things to remember is I mentioned about smart regulations. Now, smart regulations state that obviously chargers can't be used within peak times. So we as a manufacturer, you as an installer, have to install a product which has smart capabilities. It's down to the end user if they want to opt in or out of using those capabilities. So at this point, Sarah, what she would do is she'd go to her access settings. The charge point itself, it's on her driveway, so it's a private charger. Now, the main thing here to look out for is that you'll see there, the first one says allow charging within peak hours. So Sarah, being the end customer, has an option of whether she opts in or out of using, of wanting to charge within those times or not. So if you have a customer who is home during the day and needs to charge during the day, toggle that across, which will then save those settings there, which then allows for charging during those peak times. The other side is if you get a customer who doesn't want to use an app to control their charger, you'll see at the bottom there's a tab which says Enable Auto Start. By enabling this basically means, if I save that there, this basically means that the charger does not need to be app driven in terms of authenticating a charge session. It now becomes basically a simple plug and charge unit. So for that customer who doesn't want to use app, set them up on the app so that they've got the capabilities in the future, change it in the settings so it allows them to just go plug and charge mode. You'll hear that beep just in the background there. So that's basically sent the charger the command to say, well, I can charge any time that a type 2 cable is plugged in. Last thing I'll show you as well. So I mentioned about monetizing the chargers. So again, in access settings, so again, let's just say hypothetically Sarah was in the middle of London and she wanted to rent out her driveway. She can actually monetize her single phase 7.4 kilowatt charger. So within these settings here, you'll see that actually what she can do is she can then set her charger to appear on a public map. She can then set her payments up for in terms of what she wants to charge people to use. So that should I come and visit Sarah down in London and she wasn't happy with that with me that day, she could charge me 50 pence a kilowatt for using her charger if you wished. So she can set basically permissions of how I use her charger. Another thing which I'll revert to as well. So at the bottom you've got 4 tabs. You've got map, charger, insights, and me. So under chargers you'll see that available chargers at the moment. So under my profile I've got Leon's charger, which we just set up, is available. My 22 kilowatt is on the table, which I'd showed you the internal parts for. But what it allows me to do is at the very top it says charge points and teams. Under teams, what it allows me to do is it allows me to add members to that charger. So should I need to go visit Sarah, she can add me in so that I've got access to her charger. The other thing just to make note of as well, so when we go into the app, and if I have to show the customer the app, there's a couple of options there. So you'll see that you've got charge now, or you've got schedule. So that's obviously if you're scheduling, if you had an agile tariff. The other thing to make note of is when I slide to charge, that's initiate and tell the charger to start. The first thing you'll see is that along the top it'll say session delayed. Now, in the regulations for smart regulations, there's up to a 10-minute window of when the charging sessions start. So it's a random delay, and in this case, it's delayed it by just under 4 minutes. However, me as an end user, I can override that. So just at the bottom there, you can see it says charge now. So I can click charge now and the charge will initiate straight away. If I don't do that, the charge will just start after that random delay of the 4 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel the charge now as it's realized that actually there's no type 2 cable plugged into it. So yes, stop that. And last thing I'd like to show you on the MONTA app itself is if I'm a EV user and I'll use the chargers which I was involved with in the Northeast. So as you'll see there on my map, up in the Northeast in a place called North Shields, Lynn School Community Centre, it tells me that there's 5 chargers available. Now when I click into it, this tells me that charge point 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 actually are all unoccupied. So me as an EV user, I'd go up and pull up and say charge point number 1, plug my cable in, come to my app. I can see straight away that it's 45 pence per kilowatt. When I click into that, I can then go straight to payment. Now, as I've got Google Pay attached to my phone, should I slide across now, someone will get a free session there. So I'm not going to do that in my demonstration here, but this is just to demonstrate how easy it is for an end user to pay for a transaction. And as I say, just to conclude, so MONTA's really easy for a domestic customer or a commercial customer who wants to monetize their charges. You can set different tariff ratings for different members of staff or public or different members effectively, and that's all managed within your teams. So that's what I'd like to show you about the MONTA. I'll just revert back to the slides. Okay. Can I just double check? Is the presentation in presentation mode now? Yeah, perfect. So in terms of BG support, so back over to Sarah.
Yeah, so on the back of what Leon's just shown you with his demonstration, one important thing to just point out is the QR code and the serial number and password that Leon showed you on the paperwork that comes in the box and in the charger. That is the unique passcode to each individual charger. So the benefits of that for us is as well, if there is ever a problem on site or you're struggling to get them connected for whatever reason, or you feel there's a fault, you can actually email in or call us with that serial number, and we have an infrastructure, and so do MONTA, where we can tap in with that serial number and see exactly what's going on with the charger. This is providing it has got a network similar to what Leon's charger had just now. So if it's got 4G LAN or Wi-Fi, it enables us to get in and run a diagnosis so we can help you out. So we do try and turn around your on-site problems within just a couple of hours. As you can see from the support side that Leon had on just now, we do have a team of engineers up at Telford, and these guys here that are in the videos are the ones that make your support a lot easier. So where those serial numbers go, like I said, in the infrastructure, goes up to Telford to a team of 10 engineers that help do the call outs and stuff remotely. But also what they have done is they've designed these 5 videos. If you just Google in on YouTube, WC2 with SyncEV, these videos will come up in sequence. And as they are listed on the slide attached is what's going to be on each video. So it's going to be the last videos, 3, 4, possibly 5 will obviously be what Leon's just shown you. And the other 2 are just the features and benefits and how to actually power one of these things up as well. So you've got a lot of support there. It's free of charge. You don't have to be accredited as an installer to reach all these videos and support guides. It's all there just for you on hand. Why you can choose us as well is you can buy from your local wholesaler. So most wholesalers now in the UK, Scotland and Wales and Ireland have now got access to these chargers. Obviously, we've got our WCS approval and OZEV, like we discussed at the beginning. We've now got a good commercial offering with our 22 kilowatt chargers. This is only going to increase as the year goes on. So we are looking at producing pedestals, single and twins in 7.4 and 22 kilowatts for you. Hopefully, how Leon's demonstrated it today, it shows that they are really easy to use, along with MONTA as your OCPP or your back office, as we call it. It's got all the up-to-date technology, so we are fully compliant with the latest legislation and all the regs that you guys have to make sure you cohere with. And with the technical support, you've got myself in the south that covers all wholesalers and installers, and then obviously Leon covers the north in the same position as myself. But as a local support, you've got all our local ASM managers. These also come under the Luceco ban, like we explained at the beginning. So they are there as well to give you all the local support, not just on EV, but anything to do with the BG company and the products they provide. And if you ever need help on your site visits or you've got inquiries that I'm not quite sure to handle them, please feel free to contact either myself or Leon, and we'll be able to hold your hand along your first few site visits until you've got a full understanding and you're confident installing and commissioning the units. Obviously as well, we do ongoing training and the CPDs there, this is not a CPD. This is just basic training for you guys, but we do offer CPDs. Obviously that's continuous professional development. So installers should take 10 of these a year to keep their accreditation and obviously claim their points back with whoever you're certified with. We do a combined solar and EV CPD. It's free of charge to any installer or electrician who wants to take it. All you've got to do is contact your local wholesaler to show your interest, and we'll be able to organise an event local to you. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah and Leon, for that presentation. Fantastic stuff. got a couple of questions from the audience here. Just before I launch into those, just a reminder to everyone that this webinar is recorded today and will be up on the ECA YouTube channel as soon as possible. That's at youtube.com/ECA Live. So a couple of questions here. First one might need a bit of elaborating, but I'll put it to both of you and let me know if we want to ask for it to be elaborated. Where are we up to with bidirectional chargers?
So is this relating to solar?
So I'll just put it back to the audience member who wrote that in. If you could elaborate on.
Yeah. So
we've gone off. You go, Leon. You do it.
Yeah, I could probably add a little bit to it. So basically, so bidirectional chargers. So in terms of from an AC side, there's not really many. It's more to do with the vehicles, to be honest. So I used to work for Nissan, and I sold Nissan Leaf back in 2015. Now the Nissan Leaf is probably one of the very few cars which charges via CHAdeMO. Now CHAdeMO versus CCS, from a DC point of view, CHAdeMO was designed for its bidirectional usage, so effectively using your car as a battery storage on wheels. Now, funny enough, actually, I think it was just yesterday, I've just read Octopus Energy have now gone into that market. However, they have just announced that there's three vehicles on the market which have those capabilities. One being Nissan Leaf, the Nissan ENV 200, which is the van, and I think the third one might be Renault Zoe, but I'd need to just double check that. So it might be coming, but it's still very early days for bidirectional charging, also known as VTG, so vehicle to grid.
Thanks for that, Leon. I think that does answer Mark's question. He added using the car to power the home. So that you covered that, Leon. Thank you. Second question here: how do you program RFID tags?
Yeah, so it's very simple as well. So in terms of, I'll show you, in fact. So let me share my screen once again. Or just whilst I get that set up, do you want to go to maybe the next question?
So we don't have any other questions from the audience just yet.
Okay, no, it's fine. So let me just check. So can you now see my phone screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So in terms of setting up RFID tags, basically what you'll do is you'll go to me at the top there, at the bottom right. You'll go to personal wallet. And MONTA call RFID tags charge keys. So click on the plus sign there. So there's two ways you can assign a RFID tag, fob, card. It can be any of those combinations. It doesn't have to be a SyncEV RFID fob itself, as long as the RFID tag itself or any of those combinations have an 8, 14 or 20 character, it can be programmed to the charger. You can either do it via your phone. So if I had an RFID tag in front of me, I could use my phone and the NFC to program that into the charger, or I can do it physically at the charger itself. So effectively, as you see there, so pair through charger. I'll click into that. Right, so Leon's charger is available. So I'll then obviously push my RFID tag against that just to register that. What I would say as well, just to elaborate on the RFID side of things, is that let's just say if it's in a commercial environment, you've got to remember that the charger can be activated via app, so it doesn't necessarily need to be the RFID model of our charger. So to give you an example, if you were putting in, say, single phase chargers into a commercial environment, to be super competitive and win lots of projects, you can monetize our entry-level charger, which is just your Wi-Fi and Ethernet model, because you still have a form of payment on that. Where RFIDs would become useful, let's just say you issue them out to members of staff, so the members of staff have free charging. They'll then obviously just use the RFID fob to initiate the charge. If it's then a visitor coming, what they would then do is they'd either scan the QR code on the charger itself, if you'd ordered those from MONTA, or you'd go to the MONTA app itself and then just pay for that, whatever transaction, whatever the cost is that they've billed it out to.
Great, thank you, Leon. So there's no more questions from the audience, but I'm sure viewers will have more questions, and viewers watching the replay on the YouTube channel will have questions as well. What's the best way to reach you guys?
Just on
Yeah.
email, WhatsApp, phone, whatever they prefer, really.
Yeah, so
Okay.
myself and Sarah, we're very flexible in terms of how you can reach out to us in any way.
Great, and we've got the details up on the screen there, which is fantastic. All right, thank you very much both, and thanks to our viewers today for watching. Like I said earlier, all of our Learning Zone series is up on the YouTube channel, so do make sure to check those out as well. All right, thank you everyone.
Okay.
Have a great
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for attending, guys. Thank you now.